I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Now we have to behave.
Thank you. Should we get started, please? Let's go.
All right. Safe. All right. I think I'm going in the office.
I got it. Yeah.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Here,
Thank
there.
you. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to introduce our panel here. When Michelle approached me about moderating a panel on the future of marine retailing, she allowed me to pick who my panelists were. So I thought, who do I want to hear from? Because I think a lot about the future of marine retailing as a boat builder and running a marketing and sales operation. So I'm very proud. The three people that I asked all agreed to do it instantly. So sitting to my immediate right is Paulee Day, who was General Counsel of MarineMax for many years and now is Chief Operating Officer of West Marine. In the middle is Ed Russell, who is for 30 years COO of MarineMax and now runs a large dealership chain that he started from scratch and built with 4 stores on the west coast of Florida between Tampa and Naples. And to my far right is Darren Plymale, who is the president of Galati Yachts, who most of you know is a yacht dealer which started in Anna Maria Island, Florida, not far from here, and now has stores from Naples all the way around the Gulf Coast to Houston and Costa Rica.
Cabo and California.
The coolest. So very, very happy to have these folks with us this morning. And I've written out a list of questions, just things that I think about with really just applying everything that's going on in the overall retail landscape and trying to figure out how that applies to our collective business. Because I think beyond any other form of retail, boat builders and dealers and component suppliers and West Marine, this is a partnership business, not a traditional, hey, here you go sell it kind of thing. We are all in this together in the truest sense of the word. So my first question is for Paulee. How has the role of your 250 stores changed over the last few years? And how do you see this evolution continuing?
So, I think we are uniquely qualified because of our retail footprint to really be that provider who can meet the needs of a boater. Our mission is keep people boating, keep boaters boating. It's really very simple, and I think that's what we all share in this industry. We want boaters to be boating, enjoying this amazing recreation of boating. And so, through our stores, we really try to focus on, we have seen a tremendous increase in the do-it-yourself boaters, right? Especially when times are challenged economically. Some people like to tinker on their boats. Others feel like they can save money by working on their own boats. So we try to provide solutions for those do-it-yourselfers and also the do-it-for-me, connect them with a pro and help them get their needs met. But it takes having the right product, the right place at the right time, and being fairly priced, which is something that we've had an opportunity, getting the right product, making sure we're in stock, and that we are fairly priced. And that's something that we really laser focused on because we want to be that trusted provider. And I think the final thing is really, I always say one of our greatest assets is having very passionate crew members that love boating and fishing, and they love working with customers in the stores. And so they are a great source of that know-how, that advice that you need if you come into a West Marine, you're trying to get out on the water and you don't really know exactly what you need, but we can help you find it. And again, get that solution so that you can go out and enjoy the water.
Thank you. And how has the role of your showroom changed?
Steve, it's going out of COVID, which we had zero inventory, which was a pretty cool thing for a boat retailer. We played it pretty smart, being able to show clients boats. Our facilities are based around marinas, so we had inventory that was our clients' boats that we could utilize. But today, that's shifted. We have plenty of inventory, and with our products, mostly we handle premium brands. It's very, very challenging to bring the product in correctly, have the right boats at the right time, the right colors. So many features, so many options. So many new technologies coming along that customers want. People are in the know. So, to me, in the future, there would be more of a just-in-time inventory of product that's coming from manufacturers that customers could do customization or consumer customization, not massive customization, and have some product on the ground, but being able to sell product that's coming in the future.
Are you seeing the impulse buyers? Are people willing to wait? Or like are people coming in, introduce themselves for the first time? Are they on your radar for a long time before that?
I think it's a great question, Steve. And I like to preface that I'm in the best market in the world. So the west coast of Florida, it's saltwater. It's people from Naples to Sarasota are on a schedule. They come every year at this time. They leave every year at this time. That a lot of our clients, we have a lot of people, base clients to stay. But basically those consumers, like if they haven't purchased by sometime around January, they're off to next year. And they're planning to purchase that boat next year and will buy it before they leave. So that type of client, recently, I'd say in the last few years since COVID, the person just walking into a showroom or a facility and saying, "Oh, I got to have this boat today," is less. It's less today. I think people are doing more and more research away from the dealerships, doing it online, trying to find information, trying to find the details. I think they go down rabbit holes and they maybe go down a gyro stabilization YouTube or something like that, and then that takes them, it's a long way back to come back to the product because they're out there looking for research and information.
Interesting. Darren, how do you feel about that?
He hit some great points. Number one, we're blessed to be in some incredible markets. We've seen a trend since COVID where our showrooms are less relevant. And what I mean by that is, in our case, we haven't seen a lot of inventory to fill the pipeline right now. We're still on an order basis with many of our builders, and we could be anywhere from a year to 18 months out to deliver. So what it's done is it's created a real positive effect to our brokerage channel. And that brokerage business has allowed us to put people in boats today and put that boat on order for tomorrow. And it's really helped us, and like he said, in showing product to customers where I could have a late model 2025 58 go on the market because our customer realized that they needed a 68 with a 4-stateroom layout. And so things like that help us. And to his point, the technology. Every time you turn around, we have new electronics, we have new sonars, we have new gyroscopic stabilizers, we have all kinds of new things that the customers want, and we got to deliver. So that's something that we've really done a great job. We've got a wonderful team. Like I said, we're truly blessed in the fact that we got 16 stores and 90 salespeople, and they're all focused on taking care of the customer and making sure we're meeting their needs. And that's happening now more and more where the boats are, not necessarily where we're at.
Do you see this transitioning to a made-to-order world, a made-to-retail order world?
It's interesting. I think as you get to a certain level of product, and I'll say inboard diesel at a certain level, or even this large outboard segment, yes, I see people coming in getting what they want, but they want to dip their toe in the water and determine, hey, am I going to like this? Is this going to be fun for me and the family? And once they get the bug, they normally build what they're looking for.
And they're willing to wait.
Yes, some, yes. Your impulse buyer, in our case, our Valhalla brand is a brand that we have people that will come in and, try to grab right now. And then our Viking brands, they've learned to wait. What they're looking at is what he was saying. What am I going to be doing in 2 years? What's my fishing arrangement? Do I want that boat to go to Costa Rica or Cabo and fish tournaments? And that's what they're planning on. They're planning on tomorrow.
Paulee, how is West Marine preparing for the next generation of boaters and outdoor enthusiasts that don't want to talk to anybody in their buying process, their research process? The more they can do online, the more information they can get online, the further they can get down the funnel. How do you cope with that?
Well, I think like everybody in retail, we're really leaning into technology. So of course we've got our online platforms, which we strive to improve every day. That digital experience, the having a great customer experience where you can pretty much simulate what you do in a store, you can do it online. You can get information, you can get the know-how, you can get your project completers and have that complete digital online experience. I think that's the key. And one thing we've done with our, obviously we have our retail customers, and then we have our pro customers, our marine service professionals, who are buying from us, and we just created a pro app so they can go right on their Android or Apple phone and order what they need. So I mean, that technology, it's all about efficiency, right? It's about getting the product, being able to quickly order what you want, and then getting it wherever you want it. We've really leaned into, Amazon has spoiled all of us, right? Immediacy is almost expected now. So we have to be mindful of that in the online shopping experience. People want what they're ordering, they want it right away. The good news is with our retail locations, you can order something online and then stop into the store and pick it up, right? Buy online, pick up in store, or we can deliver it right to you. And I think that fulfillment is a tremendous opportunity for us because, again, boaters want immediacy just like they would on Amazon or anything else. So we want to be able to compete with that and do a better job by having that, truly full customer experience online.
People love that, which gets me to one of my questions that I actually lose sleep over, which is price transparency in the marine industry. If you look at a lot of ads on Boat Trader and Yacht World that says call for price, many manufacturers of boats don't show their pricing. You have to give your name and someone's going to contact you and tell you how much it is. Many manufacturers have MSRP, which might as well have a question mark, MSRP question mark. So we don't, we have consumers, we have consumers that are demanding transparency in everything they do. They can go on your website and say, here's what I'm going to pay for that item, and they've got the power to buy it or not. As an industry, we don't, for the most part, we don't offer that. My deep dark fear is we're losing at bats. The customer doesn't know what they can buy it for, and they lose the impulse. Or they see an inflated MSRP and they think, I can't afford that, not knowing that a dealer would be happy to sell it to them for 10% less or 15% less. They see this number and we don't even know about them. They're on our website and gone before. I know once they're in your funnel, you're gonna get them. You're gonna figure out a way to make a deal with them. But the ones that don't get to the funnel is my fear. How do you think about that?
That's a great subject, Steve. And when we started the new company about 12 years ago, transparency was a number one pillar. And I took it internally more so that it was such a challenge to try to teach the team how to sell at MSRP and above and create value within that pricing was very difficult. It took 2, 3, 4 years for a sales professional to learn that concept. And then some of them never got it, in my opinion. So transparency is important. I think for us as dealers, and you look at, the big thing is, well, I can't take a trade. And because everything's up here, the trades have to be up here. So everything's inflated or at a high margin and having over allowances and so forth. For a dealer, if we can, I think, lessen the margin, sell more boats. But the challenge with that is on the other side, and a lot of the folks here are vendors that supply the boat manufacturers, is our systems are getting more and more sophisticated. A lot of times our boat manufacturer, not Chris Graff, but our boat manufacturers don't know how that system works because they bought a package from somebody. So as a dealer, we're going to need vendors that can mitigate the cost that we chase these pretty significant issues with a boat that are high technology. It's not fiberglass. It's not stringers. It's all this stuff. And I think if we can get there where we can get more support in the field for the dealer to take care of the client, then margins could get tighter. If we continue to do it ourselves and kind of do a one-on-one type thing, it's so expensive to do it.
My brain doesn't go to lower margins, Ed.
Yeah.
I want the
transparent
I want the
margins.
dealer to make their margin, which I know they're making once they get in your funnel.
Right.
You're getting your margin.
Right.
I don't want to touch that.
But if you bring MSRP, let's just say, hey client, you could buy this for 12% off, then everything's going to kind of follow suit, right? That becomes the new MSRP in the client's mind, and they're going to want 10 off. So I was in preparation. I was talking to some friends in my past big retailers. One of the best retailers in our marine industry, besides boats, they sell soft goods and so forth. And they're struggling with, like, they can do it on aluminum, but as soon as they get into fiberglass, it's a different story. A premium fiberglass product they have. And that customer wants more for their trade. They want more for this transaction than maybe someone buying a pontoon boat or a bass boat at the store. So, but again, I think the more transparent you can be with a client, years ago, I don't know what happened to them, but there was findboatdealercost.com or something. There was a group out of Tennessee.
I remember
like
that.
Some ex-Brunswick guys started it or something like that.
Find dealer costs.
Dealer costs, and it kind of went away. Interesting. I was in a conversation with the guys at Newmar at the dealer meeting last week, and they were sharing with me that the chat platforms, the clients are going to them and saying, "Hey, what's my discount should I get on a King Air? It's a $1.5 million RV. What's the price I should get on it? When's the best time of the year to buy it?" And it pumps out a page of what you should pay for it. The best time of the year to buy it is right here. So
Was it correct?
Well, the national sales VP was kind of smiling while he was explaining it to me, so I'm assuming it was somewhat accurate.
Okay.
And so some of this stuff's going to be out of our control, right?
They're getting transparency
Right.
whether we like it or not.
Right.
Right.
So
Without talking to you.
yeah, so it's but at the end of the day, I think, Steve, besides it was discussed yesterday, besides tariffs and cost and supply chain issues, our industry, in my opinion, is coming down for millionaires. It's not for middle class. And I I don't want to segue through your whole program, but that's where, like, the boat clubs and stuff like that can help us. They're required, because the day of us selling a 19-foot center console for an affordable monthly payment or something that doesn't cost as much as their house, because a 21-foot center console is close to $100,000 now, which just takes a lot of people out of the market, in my opinion. Back to your point of they're buying pre-owned or used.
Darren, I love your comments
Well,
on price transparency.
and that's what I was going to, touch on. There's a couple of things that are factors that are playing into pricing and transparency today, and one of them is technology. Go to Genesis, go to ChatGPT, go to these other programs that allow you to put information in and pull information out that they pull from the web. And the information that's coming out is so all over the road. So the customer comes out confused. To his point, they're relying on chats now to come up with ways of what's my best deal. And in my opinion, again, we deal with a buyer. Our average sale in terms of retail is anywhere from $3 to $5 million. And our customer has to have confidence that not only are we going to deliver on what we promised, but we're going to be there to take care of them. And so it's a fine edge. We got to give them the best deal, but we also got to make sure that we're there to take care of them, to his point earlier. And working with our builders on new product, we've come up with a strategy of coming up with a net item, which is not discountable, and then what you can discount. And it's really helped us mitigate that high retail price. Again, we're putting electronics packages and hard tops and towers on boats that range anywhere from $200,000 to $600,000 as an add-on. So those type of things grow the price significantly as they continue to put these add-ons or these wants on their new boat. So we got to mitigate that and come up with a plan for transparency. So that's what we've done. We've come up with net items. On those items, we pass through to the customer at the net price, and then we have the retail cost that we come up with MSRP. Again, I'm dealing with a much lower margin than what we're seeing out there on the retail level with, say, not to pick a brand or anything, but a small 21-foot center console is going to have a different margin than a 68 Viking. So again, we're trying to work within the framework that we have today. I think technology is going to play a big part of it. And I think we're going to be forced to put retail pricing out there that counts, because so many people are relying on the internet and relying on these other programs like ChatGPT. And we're sampling that right now to take a look at what we can do for transparency.
One thing.
Sure.
So, I think that it's a real opportunity. We all have a common interest, right? And that is for recreational boating to remain healthy. We want boaters boating. We want people to want to boat. And I agree, some of the pricing is becoming cost prohibitive. And we in the aftermarket may be enjoying some of the benefit of that. But nevertheless, we want people to still be boating. We want their boats to be serviced. We want the price to be fair. If we all, I think it's a tremendous opportunity for us in the industry to work together so that we are able to make a fair margin. And customers do have the transparency, but they can still boat, right? Nobody needs to get greedy. And I will tell you, West Marine has had one of the biggest pricing problems, and we are little by little fixing it, and very committed to making sure, because we know, and even on our Pro app, you can go right on and scan a product in the store, and you can get all the comparative pricing. So we have to be fairly priced, or we're not going to sell the product. But I think we in the industry have an opportunity to work together to preserve recreational boating, to get people boating by making a fair margin, but working more collaboratively in the supply chain.
Yes.
To make that possible.
Agreed. I'm intrigued. One of the largest sellers in terms of units is the White River Marine Group, roughly almost 30,000 units last year. I'm guessing average price retail below 50 grand. And they have no haggle pricing on their website, kind of like CarMax or Carvana. I don't know how that's going for them, but as a consumer shopping, if I was a first-time boater and I arrived at that, I would find that attractive, because it would give me the power to decide if I want it or not. Do you think this is a trend, or is this going to stay relegated to more entry-level products, or do you see it migrating up through premium products? Obviously, at a no-haggle price, I'm guessing they can't take a trade financially in the deal.
They can, but it might not be what this sales professional thinks they should give them for it, or what the consumer wants at the end of the day.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff's done internally, like what the people negotiating the deal, what they think the client has to have for it, or what they owe on it, or something like that. So, they're a powerful organization, and I've been involved with them over the years in my past, and they do a phenomenal job. I mean, they spell out freight, they spell out make ready. It's all right there for the client. And I've had friends that go into the store and just buy it because it's clearly marked. And I'm like, what were you thinking? I don't know, it was there, it was cool, and had boots on it or whatever, and they bought it. So I believe there's a piece there. I've also had conversations with them. They've acquired some other premium brands, and they've been challenged with some type of level preset pricing on that. So it's, but I think it's really the culture of Johnny and what he's put together and how he goes to market, and kind of what you're talking about, keeping people boating. He's committed to it, and it's phenomenal. I mean, if we could do it, I'd be willing to try. Honestly, I would. So if it's interesting, if it's something we could do.
One of the things that I find as a challenge with that is what you were talking about earlier with the trade value creates a different proposition for us. And one of the things that we have to continue to do is provide the customer with confidence that what they purchased, they're going to get something out of, as long as they take care of it and they do all the right things. And that there's a healthy pipeline there for used product. And that's where that brokerage channel comes in and allows us to find out what the market will pay for it. And we're very confident in what it offers. But you don't have that for the impulse buyer. The impulse buyer wants to do what they do at a car dealership, and they want to drive up, give you the keys, and drive out with a new one. And in order to do that, there's a lot of factors involved. And one of them is you can have pricing transparency, but we're in a very independent mindset industry where not everybody's playing together. And I'm not talking about, price fixing or coming up with any program like that. What I'm talking about is if we have a healthy industry like we did during COVID, everybody wins. If we're in a difficult industry, somewhat like we are right now, you're going to have some wild cards. And as long as that's out there, it's going to be difficult because people are going to find the best price, and they're going to shop, and they're going to use the internet and the tools that are available to them.
Shifting gears, boat shows. Boat show attendance peaked in 2019. and it's gone down ever since. And there wasn't a COVID blip like there was for many things. What's the future of shows? You guys spend a lot of money on shows. It's a lot of work setting them up. Our team works together with our dealers to help with that. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of cost. What do you see as the future for boat shows?
Well, we got a problem on our hands. Boat shows are a double-edged sword. We want people to come see the latest, greatest, and show them everything we have to offer, and work with our builder partners to make sure that we're there staffing the displays and doing everything we can with the big international shows, which are costly, and we spend a tremendous amount of our advertising budget going to those. But they're having a difficult time right now at that level getting participation. Look at Miami and what's happening now with the in-water display at Miami, and many people now are deferring. Many people are deferring to go to Palm Beach. So we're in the process of working with them right now on what that footprint's even going to look like. It's now going to move from the Bayside all the way back to Collins Avenue, and there's some parameters there that are just not that are really cost prohibitive. So we got our hands full. I think that participation is going down because the internet pressure is there, and people are finding other outlets to explore what they're going to purchase, and the boat shows are less relevant.
So what's the future?
Honestly, I think they'll in a few years they'll probably be a fraction of what they are today as far as being an impact of how our businesses function.
Ed?
I think a lot of times Lauderdale and Miami kind of are boat show concepts. I think regional shows are healthy for the market. I think with an industry, for the 40 plus years I've been involved with it, it's done this. Mm-hmm. It's never done that. Obviously RVs had some great success with going RVing and so forth, and Tom's in the back of the room, so I don't want to say anything about our efforts, but a regional show to me is important to the lifeblood of the industry. I also feel like a lot of the regional players and even some of the big players, they focus internally so much on us, display space, et cetera, getting us there, paying our bills and so forth. It seems like the consumer or the new consumers that we want to come to the boat show are not as important to some of them. I don't want to be a blanket statement. Is how do we drive new folks into boat show? How do we turn boat shows into more of an experience of utilizing a boat? Come back here and use the docks out back to get people out on the water, just for them to learn about what this is all about. And those moments, like you said in your speech yesterday, just how do you get people to make those memories in a boat? So I think it's still going to have a place. I think it's going to bring new people in the industry if it's marketed better and correctly, versus just to the same person that came last year because we're sending tickets to them type thing.
Right. So interesting. Before I wrap up, and I've got a couple more questions I can ask. Is there any questions in the audience you'd like to ask the panel? Sir, loud.
The discussion has been more about the retailers, but what about the vendors and their activities to help feed AI to bring the product itself up to the forefront, then so the retailers then have their opportunity to sell to those customers that are not walking into the stores? What are the expectations?
So yeah, it's a great question, and it's one we had talked about. I think we can use a lot of these AI predictive analytics to understand better what our customer needs are. I mean, again, we're very focused on what are the right products that we need to carry, where do we need to carry them. So when we're working with vendors, those learnings from AI, those predictive analytics will be a tremendous tool for us, used respectfully, right? But we will learn more about what customers really want. And then I think we can have that product in the right place at the right time. And, I think innovation is going to be incredibly important, and really understanding, keeping boaters having fun, right? Talking about shows, like you said, experience, have it be a fun experience, have them see the beauty of this recreation and making memories of family and friends, understanding truly what they want and keeping it an interesting recreation by having that innovation. And so I think, the vendor relationships are incredibly important when I talk about supply chain. Again, everybody making a healthy margin, understanding what consumers really want and need, and making sure we have that
that available for them. I think that's the continuing that makes boating easier and more fun, and it keeps people boating.
Got 2 minutes left. Got a question for Ed that I think the audience would love to hear more about. You built this successful business, growing every year, adding stores, and 3 months ago you announced that you'd sold it to the employees in an employee stock purchase program. As far as I know, the first marine dealership.
There's a few out there.
Okay.
There's a few out there, and I think more coming. So
Okay. Love to hear about
Yeah,
the thought process, how it's gone with the employees.
So obviously there's in the past, and I think it's slowed, but I was involved in doing 28 acquisitions when I was at MarineMax and learned a ton. But the two big players in the marketplace don't seem to be acquiring dealerships, and not sure it was the best strategy for myself, long-term, short-term, near-term. When we started the company, I envisioned the employees owning it and never thought it would have developed into the size it did, which made it more difficult to sit across from maybe Steve and say, Steve, here's your piece, and this is what you have to invest, and you're going to commit to floor planning with us. You're going to be part of it. You're going to put your house up for leverage, et cetera. So I was having lunch with a commercial banker, and they shared with me a group out of Columbus, Ohio called Lazier, who specializes in ESOPs. And it was a 7-month process to go through, but very, very excited. We closed in April. Our team's excited. Our culture was already there, I believe, to fit this strategy for us. Myself and my partner will be around for another 5 to 6 years, staying involved in the company. Similar to what Bill Jurgen said this morning about that next level of executives in our company that are rising up and learning and meeting all of you and people in the industry and so forth. So very exciting. It's a different strategy than being acquired. It's different than a succession plan internally of family taking over the business. There's a lot of mom and pop boat dealerships across the country. And to me, it's a phenomenal vehicle for me to move to my next chapter.
You know what? I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
I was thrilled when you announced it, and I thought the same thing you just said. It's an alternative to selling out to a roll-up.
Yep.
And you heard what Bill said about that this morning, and I actually agree with him. Strategic buyers, and this way you empower your employees to do that. So
Our company's built on culture. It's built on attitude and execution. Everybody drinks it, believes it, and so it'll carry on, and they deserve it.
thank you.
Yeah,
I want to thank you all for your time
Thank
this
you,
morning.
Steve.
Really
Thanks for
interesting
having us.
discussion.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Great job.